Hello, 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 YouTube. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you've had a very good, prosperous, and productive week, and you're ready to get into your weekend. It's Real Talk Therapy 101 with your girl, Ebony Campbell. If it's your first time stopping by, please, please, please look at Monday's video or earlier videos for the intro. I'm going to try to start keeping that at the beginning of the week only, just to let you know what Real Talk Therapy is about. Want to start doing more shorts and putting out more information outside of what it is we do on a daily basis. That way I can keep the videos within the time frame and keep everybody where they need to be and then do what I need to be doing within the daytime as well. But here on Real Talk Therapy, we talk about our mental health, our spiritual well-being, our mental well-being, but we use spirituality, real life situations, cartoon songs, movies, what have you, just to talk about how to deal and maneuver through our uncharted waters. And today I am shooting the video or using my iPad to do the video just to see, some different things as I'm working through some kinks with YouTube and getting everything together. So just in the same area, in the same space, but using a different device to do the video on today. So here on Real Talk Therapy, this week we have been in a series of self-care, and we're in Self-Care 104, ending up self-preservation. And our custom-made t-shirt for the day says, "Protect yourself by any means necessary." And we've talked about developing or redeveloping a love for yourself, no matter what you've been through, no matter what has gone on with you, no matter where you are right now in life, just knowing that you can still love yourself, good, bad, indifferent, flaws and all. Nobody's perfect. And so in our imperfections, we can find some different ways to do things. We talked about self-awareness, being aware of the people who are around you and knowing what they're around you for, and what their intentions are when they're around you. And we also talked about self-awareness. We talked about self-development, developing who you are with where you are right now. And this week we ended up with self-preservation. And we know that in preserving things, just like jelly preserves, or when you preserve food, or when you preserve anything, you want to lay it in a layer of protection. And so when you are preserving yourself, you want to put it on a layer of protection that goes above and beyond anything else that you're trying to preserve in life. It can be hard because if you are not accustomed to preserving yourself, if you're one of those people that's accustomed to preserving everything else and everyone else around you, now trying to preserve and protect you is going to be hard because people around you are not going to understand it. They're not going to like it, especially if they don't have the access to you that they once had, especially if they aren't able to, maneuver and handle you the way that they once used to handle you. And these situations can happen at work, home, church, community, wherever. Anybody that you come in contact with, friendships, anything, when you're coming in contact with other individuals. And when we say by any means necessary, I often think about Malcolm X with that phrase. And, the history and the genre of Malcolm X, and just knowing that, hey, we got to reach these heights by any means necessary. And I don't want you guys to go to the lengths of physically hurting or doing anything to anybody, or, causing harm or anything in those natures. I don't want you to go through anything like that. I just want you to be able to know that you have to be able to take care of you in whatever area that you feel like you need to take care of you in. So before we get into our conversation, our Coach bag for the day is our vintage Coach. You guys remember this one. It's my first Army Fatigue Coach style bag that I had gotten. We were carrying that today. And our shoes for the day, let me see if I'm doing pretty good. I think I am. Are the gray Vapor Max. So we're wearing gray Vapor Max today, along with our Army Fatigue and our shirt for the day. So again, getting back into this conversation where we're talking about preserving and protecting. A lot of people protect their households. You might have a no trespassing sign in your yard, and having a no trespassing sign means, if you ain't got no business back here, you don't have any business here. And when we start preserving ourselves, that's how we have to look at the relationships that we are in, the jobs that we're on, the people that we come in contact with, the positions that we hold in life, whether we're, mother or father, a student, a teacher, whatever our roles are in life. We have to start protecting ourselves in those various roles in whatever way possible and by any means possible. And a lot of times people won't understand it, they won't get it, they won't like it, because then they lose access to you in the way that they once had it before. They no longer like how you talk and speak and respond, because it's not what they had been accustomed to, because you weren't protecting yourself. People aren't gonna like how you carry yourself. They're not gonna like how you avoid people, places, and things like you once did in life. They're not going to enjoy being in positions of not being able to have you in a position to where you're a puppet and they're your puppet master. And once you start tearing those puppet strings off, I think about Pinocchio, and he wanted to be a real boy. But we know the gist of Pinocchio. We're gonna have a series on him telling them lies and their nose growing. We're gonna talk about that, but just the puppeteering part of it. None of us need a puppeteer. You know what I'm saying? You need to operate and move at your own accord and move how you need to move. Once you get to this place of self-care, you become very, very vulnerable. You become, it's almost like starting all over again to a degree. And so you got to learn how to set boundaries again. You got to learn how to, have people handle you and communicate and deal with you on levels that are new now. And so there are 4 key things that we're going to talk about on today's video. And one of them is you got to control your attention and your emotions. Control what you focus on. Stop focusing on the hurt and the hardship and start focusing on how to get over it. Stop focusing on the losses, the failures, and start learning how to get over them. And if in the failures there anything that you want to try again. Don't operate in your emotions. And women, a lot of you all are going to get upset with me for releasing this truth today. But as females, we operate and feed off our emotions. And a lot of times we make decisions based off how we feel. And that can be good or it cannot be good to a degree. So try to control your attention. Don't control your emotions. Feel how you're going to feel. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to cuss, cuss. If you need to scream, scream. If you need to let out, let out. Whatever it is you need to do, try to control them, but don't try to control your emotions. Because when you start suppressing stuff and holding on to it, when it starts coming out, remember I told you guys it's in the most inopportune times that these things start to come out and you start to react and govern yourselves in ways that you don't need to react and or govern yourself. Number 2, practice compassionate self-talk. Stop being so hard on yourself. You made the mistake, okay. And it doesn't matter who reminds you of it, who comes at you at it, with it or about it. Protect yourself. Don't operate and move and be controlled by your emotions. Practice compassionate self-talk. Be easy on you. Give yourself grace. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself the level of patience that you've given everybody else. Give yourself as many tries and chances to get things right that you've given everybody else. Love yourself unconditionally, the way that you have loved everybody else. It's time. Number 3, use values, not feelings, to make decisions. When you're getting ready to make a life-changing decision, tap back into what your morals are at this point. Tap back into what your values are at this point. And make those life-changing decisions based off those values. You'll hear people say all the time, all money ain't good money. That's a cliche you will not hear me change, because that is the God-honest truth. There's some ways to make a living that's just not the appropriate way to make a living. And even in your what is it, legitimate businesses and legitimate ways to make money, there's also always the opportunity for bad money to flow through your businesses. You don't need that. You don't need to be attached to that. You don't need any of that with where you're going. So start using your values, not your feelings, to make decisions. One thing on that, with me working in behavioral health, I hear a lot of people say, this happens and my thing is, and I don't want to work with this particular person, and I don't want this client, and I don't want to go here, and I don't want to go there. Now you're tapping into your emotions and what you feel. If the job calls for it, whatever your job may be, then you have to be willing to go the extra mile and to do what the work calls and consists of. If that's not what you want to do, find you something else to do. Open your own company and do what you want to do. I don't know, but you can't work for somebody and then do what you want to do. Number 4, set and enforce healthy boundaries. Remember, when you are renegotiating and redoing your values based off who you are now, where you're going, what it is that you have going on in your life, you're in this uncharted water. You're in a place you've never been before. And as you start to try to find your way out, you want to be able to set and enforce healthy boundaries. Hey, look, I know there was a time where I would let you call me and vent and say everything that you needed to say, but right now I'm just not in a mental space to retain it. So can we have this conversation later, or can I refer you to somebody? Can I, is there anybody else that you can call? Because believe it or not, I've had too much. I've got too much on my plate. I'm too full right now at this point. And I can't retain anything right now, especially if it's your personal time. But now if you're on your job and with the work that I do, a lot of times I have to be able to set my personal aside until I'm done with work, and then I can revisit it. I've mastered that trait, but it wasn't in a healthy way. Remember, guys, I told you one of my favorite games to play was make-believe and pretend, and my imagination would go, all these different places. And so I was pretending to protect myself. I was pretending to be okay and be in certain spaces. I was pretending that everything was okay. And in some areas of life, we can pretend the heck out of stuff because you present yourself so well on the outside that no one has any idea that you're dying or crumbling on the inside. So you have to learn to suppress those feelings. You have to learn to suppress those things that are taking you to depths and heights and taking you through things that you do not want to go through, and that are keeping you from maneuvering through this uncharted water and getting where you want and or need to be. You have to set those healthy boundaries, and they have to be healthy for you. Healthy for you, and they have to protect you, no matter what the circumstances are and no matter what is going on. So there has to be a sense of preservation. There has to be a level of, I've sent out the SOS. The lifeguard is off duty. There's nobody else out there that I can go to and depend on to protect me the way that I'm going to protect me. I promise you, when you get ready to deal with a situation that puts you where you're fighting again, or we're not fighting, but you're trying to figure out if you should fight or flight. A lot of times we gear ourselves up to fight. And when you're gearing up to fight, your heart starts beating fast. You start having all these different emotions. I don't know what you call it, your stamina or whatever you get. It's all your senses are heightened, and you're ready. You're pumped up to go to fight. When it comes to flight, you gone. You out of there. If you never ran as fast as you're gonna run in life before, you're gonna run and take yourself to different heights and different levels and different places, because now this is where and what you want to do and what you have going on with where you want to go. But you got to know when to fight and when to flight. Kenny Rogers says you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them. And only you know that. Quit asking people to validate you. Here in the phase of self-care and self-preservation, you don't need validation from nobody else. Because the only thing they're going to validate is what they want you to do for them, or what they think you should be doing, so that it's what works for them. Learn how to accommodate folks, and learn how to accept when folks are not accommodating. And when I say learn how to accommodate folks, if somebody tell you they don't want to be bothered, don't bother them. What are you forcing yourself on someone for? If somebody tells you they don't want to talk, don't talk. What are you forcing yourself for? If someone tells you they don't want to go somewhere with you, quit trying to get the individual to go somewhere with you. If someone tells you they're not ready to sit down and talk about something, or they're not ready to deal with and or handle a problem, guess what they're doing? They're protecting and preserving their mental health. It has nothing to do with you. Quit taking everything personal. And we're going to talk about when to take things personal, but stop taking everything personal. And if it is a matter of taking it personal, then sit back with your personal self and work through why you're taking it personal. Because 9 times out of 10, if you think about it, it has nothing to do with you. What people impose on others usually has something to do with themselves. You got to learn to be big on deciding, okay, let me think this through and think if this is something that I'm imagining and creating in my mind, or is this something that's really happening? And if it's something that's really happening and you really believe that it's happening, then you got to move accordingly to how you feel. And if you have to let people down in the process, if people get mad at you in the process, it's okay, because it's worth preserving you. And that's the whole idea of self-care. The better we take care of ourselves, the better partner we are, the better mother and father we are, the better spouse we are, the better individual you are on your job, the better person you are in whatever positions you hold out here in this world. Just a better person overall you are, because you've learned how to preserve and protect yourself instead of giving every ounce of you away to these situations. And then you're spent and you're exhausted, and your body is going to tell it. Your body is going to tell it. You're not going to be able to avoid, how you're feeling. And so thinking about those 4 things as we move into this last segment of self-care starting next week. We'll have Self-Care 105, and we're going to wrap it up from there so we can start going into some other interventions and doing some other things here on Real Talk Therapy that'll help us with our mental health. But you have to learn to protect yourself, man. It's vital. It's vital for your survival. Everything that we talked about this week is now you're at the end. You can see the finish line when it comes to what self-care looks like and what you need it to look like in your life. And now you can see how you want to move forward in your uncharted waters. So when you face the next big thing, you're equipped and ready to deal with it in ways that you hadn't been ready to, or are equipped to deal with it in the past. So remember, I told you guys on Fridays, we are going to feature, and I forgot it is Feel Good Friday. We're going to feature here on the channel a business or entrepreneur or someone we know and what their business is. And today I want to feature the beautiful, talented Miss Jessica Reed Hill. She owns Sugar Hill Cakery in Laurinburg, North Carolina, and I'm going to put some information and some menus and pictures and things at the end of this video, but was fortunate to meet her. I don't even know how many years back now. You guys are also going to see a picture of a birthday cake she did for me during the pandemic. It's a Coach birthday cake, and I know you guys can't wait to see it. Mr. Campbell had her to create that for me, and I was ordering from her before she opened her cakery. She started out in her house. I can't even remember how long now, but I would get something from her every month, sometimes 2 times a month, because if you like sweets, she has it, and the creativity of what she does. And I love anything strawberry except Twizzlers. I don't know why. I don't like Twizzlers, but they are strawberry Twizzlers, but I love strawberry. And this young lady here is amazing. She's a wonderful mom, a wife, she's a stepmom. She sings. She just does so many different things. She's a wonderful friend and confidant, and a very, very, very amazing person to me. And she's always also so encouraging whenever you come in contact with her. So if you're ever in the area, please support. You can call in orders. She has a website. I'm gonna put all that information at the end. But if you are in town and you want something sweet and good, you need to go by Sugar Hill Cakery, owned and operated by Miss Jessica Reed Hill here in Laurinburg, North Carolina. So on that note, guys, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, like, comment, and share any of the content. Let me know some things you want to talk about moving forward. Let's continue to work together to get this to grow so that we are working on our mental health. I've been seeing a lot of stuff, reading a lot of stuff, and looking into blogs and vlogs and seeing things going on with celebrities. And so, I just want you guys to know everybody is going through something. You're not the only one. Everybody is dealing with something, and everybody finds themselves at a crossroad. And that's why it's so important to develop your network and your social supports and your cheerleaders and those confidants and those people who are going to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. Those are the people that you want on your team, because those people that are telling you what you want to hear are usually around you for their own agenda. So be careful with that. And be mindful of that. Do something this weekend that is specific to you. Do something this weekend that will help you tap into who you are and what it is that you need to do and how you want to move forward on your mental health journey by any means necessary. Remember, it's vital for your survival. If your mind is not right, 9 times out of 10, everything else is going to begin to fall apart. So take care of you, because you matter. You really matter to me. And you matter to other people. You really do. So the same way, mothers, and it's a motherly instinct that's among humans, animals, you name it. You watch the Nature Channel and watch how protective those animals are of their cubs until they, push them, little birds throw their kids out of the nest. But until they feel the need not to be protective over them anymore, they're very, very protective. And that's what you have to start doing and being for yourself. So until next week, and there may be some shorts this weekend on some self-care, not sure yet or not, but we may do that. And just like I said, take care of you in ways that you have not taken care of yourself before. Thank you guys so much for stopping by Real Talk Therapy 101 with your girl Ebony, and I will see you all soon. Bye.